Saitama vs. Popeye's ended Death Battle's 8th season, capping off the year spent celebrating the show running for over a decade. And man, I was so excited for this episode. My friends were also really excited for it, to the point where they all made some really cool art for it, which I'm showing on screen. We'd also agreed to not watch any of the previews, but I caved with Saitama's because it came out when I'd had a particularly long day and I did not have the mental strength to not watch it. Whoops. I was able to avoid the Popeye preview though, and they did me a huge favour by having no animation preview, so I wasn't tempted, thank God. My excitement for the episode was through the roof, and after a long day at work and finally getting to watch it with most of my friends there with me, was it any good? Oh, absolutely, it's a great episode. How great? Well, let's take a look at the episode, starting with the analysis. I love both characters' rundowns. Saitama being my favourite character is obviously someone I'm going to be excited to hear them talk about, and Popeye's in a similar boat as Poe, where it's just so real to see them using footage from his series at all. I had a big smile on my face from beginning to end with this analysis. I can't remember the last time an episode made me this happy without even getting into the fight scene. The jokes are all on point, the cutaways are solid and are thankfully not drawn out slapstick. The editing's fucking phenomenal, and I like how they get into the source of their power with Saitama's workout regimen and the specifics of Popeye's spinach. They also do a good job covering the whole argument about Saitama being a gag character who can't lose and how that's just not true. And they cover not just the strength gap well, but the difference in Saitama's relatively more grounded world and Popeye's cartoon bullshit. I also love how they go into the highest possible estimate they can give Saitama with the comparison between his lowest effort he could possibly give and the highest. Man, I don't even have anything much to say on the analysis other than I just absolutely loved it. There's nothing like the awful cutaway in Yoda vs Mickey to drag it down, it's stellar from beginning to end. Poe had my favourite individual analysis of the season before this, and both Saitama and Popeye have segments that rival that one, if not outright surpass it. And the fight, let's take it scene by scene. I love the setup. It was obviously going to start over Saitama trying to buy spinach, and I think this works better than them fighting over the last can or something like that, because Popeye can just make it out of thin air. The opening gives me more to talk about than just the writing though. There's the animation style, which looks incredible. Saitama and Popeye are both drawn so well. They're expressive, they move fluidly, they don't look weird on the stunning 3D backgrounds. This is easily the best looking hand-drawn fight we have ever gotten, and yes, that includes Jack vs Afro. I also really like the voices for them both. Ryan Abedi does a fantastic job with Saitama, getting across his usual bored self for most of it and then getting into the higher energy stuff near the end. He sounds pretty spot on for an impression of Saitama's English dub voice as well. And then Popeye's voiced by Liam Timehus Swan, and he gets down exactly what I'd want from a Popeye voice with his mumbling and general scratchiness. Both of these two do great. If I am to have literally any issue with the performances, I mean, it's not even an issue with the performance. I guess it's just that Saitama grunting when base Popeye's hitting him isn't really fully necessary. Him not reacting at all would have probably been better, but that is still a very minor nitpick that is not even the fault of the voice actor. I like Popeye hurling Saitama into the wall and then out into the street, and then Saitama cuts the bullshit and takes him out there and then. Some might say it's out of character for Saitama to instantly go for the kill on what he perceives as a normal human, but realise that Popeye emerging from a spinach can and, well, his entire general appearance could just give Saitama the impression that he's in fact not a regular human, so Saitama's reluctancy to kill wouldn't apply here. Plus, like, we get a really well-timed death and Popeye saying he can't read kanji, what else do you want? Popeye's corpse gets to eat spinach, his transformation looks great, we get the Saitama OK phase which was a necessity, and now we get the start to the real fight as the custom track kicks in. I like the brief scuffle here with all the rapid strikes having a good sense of speed and plenty of impact. They also hit each other in the dick and their expressions here are just great. Saitama starts trying a little more, Popeye goes reeling back, and I expected him to stretch all the way around the planet. But no, what we get is instead Popeye stretching out and flinging himself back, using the momentum to hit Saitama even harder. So hard that it changes the animation style to sprites. I love how these sprites look. I'm pretty sure they're custom. They're not like any sprites for either of these two that I've ever seen. The sound design also becomes super compressed, which I think works given the style change. The 8-bit portion is pretty neat, I like that Saitama's getting to use his only ranged option, and the exchange between them about who they are is pretty good. Their next class turns the animation back to the hand-drawn style, and things start getting even crazier, as Saitama goes for a serious table flip that catches Popeye so off guard that it makes him open his right eye. And Saitama smashes him through the massive chunk of land he tossed up, which once again changes the animation style. I don't know what was the point of hyping up any kind of special guest animator for this when it was Devil Artemis, someone who'd already worked on 4 other episodes, but whatever. His segment of the fight is still really good, even if it's probably my least favourite part of the animation. Not because of anything that happens in it, I just don't care for the Popeye model. It was funny at first, and then the shock value wore off, and yeah, now I just wish they'd used the regular Popeye model that didn't clash as hard with Saitama. Maybe there wasn't one available, I don't know. Everything else about the scene is still good though. This is the first time since before the Sprite segment where they're trading punches back and forward, except now they're both fully serious. The cosmic destruction all feels impactful. I love the shot of Saitama standing in the exploding planet. The rapid punches look even better than the same shot in the Saitama vs Superman DBX. And the peak of this segment is undoubtedly Saitama throwing a full-on death punch, only for Popeye to send his own back with the kanji for spinach. That's amazing. Saitama starts to show how into the fight he's getting. We get the dialogue interaction I was hoping for the most, and then Saitama gets thrown so hard it breaks the animation. It's also worth noting that this shot has Saitama finally showing visible signs of being on the back foot and that he knows it. That's a neat way of showing how much it's progressed since the start where he wasn't trying much at all. And then the scene that follows it is my favourite scene in all of Season 8. Saitama finally getting his first good fight in years, finally struggling again, and being genuinely happy about it as he looks out into the vast cosmos, with the action taking a back seat so that we get some time to breathe. They go for their final clash, even bouncing off celestial bodies in different ways to show the difference between Saitama's more grounded capabilities next to Popeye's Toon Force. As Saitama laughs and even starts to cry a little, before he thanks Popeye for finally giving him the fight he always wanted, and lets loose one last full effort punch to contend with Popeye doing the same. The score in this scene is incredible too. Balderdash is an amazing track. It definitely feels more Popeye in the retro segment and more tailored to Saitama in the serious portions, but given Saitama's series' greater association with banger music, that makes sense. I can hear the One Punch Man influence in the battle portions, but they also don't skip out on the genuinely somber stuff in this scene either. I think that's what really makes this for me. They get the emotional stuff down just as well as the silly shit, which is something even Poe vs Iron Fist struggled with in the end, as good as the rest of it was. Man, there's nothing else quite like this in any other death battle animation. Not just the scene where the action pauses for a genuinely effective emotional beat, but for a character to go against the entire way they always act in their home series, but for it to make sense in this specific context. Their final clash of course ends with Saitama taking the fat L, and I know I criticise Mika's death for being funny with the light erupting from her eyes and mouth, but I think it works fine here given the build up, different animation style, and the cracks throughout the rest of Saitama's entire body. Plus, any comedic value is clearly intended because, well, it's Popeye, that's kind of his thing. Popeye returns to a reset Earth with Saitama's punch even having him dazed, then a bunch of eggs rain from the sky that Saitama had been punched into, and Popeye sings a version of his ending theme as the animation ends. Wow, what an episode. It's not flawless, no death battle is, but it's still incredible. I can't remember the last time an episode made me this happy, and watching it with my friends might be the single best experience I've ever had with this show. Hearing them all freaking out in excitement, with this being the one episode that more or less everyone in my friend group can agree on being one of our favourites, what more could I ask for? When I reviewed Dio vs Alucard, I said the only episode that had a shot of topping it was the finale, and turns out I was right. The season started with a 10 out of 10, and it's ending with one too. It checks every box I could possibly hope for. Stunningly good animation whenever rancid 3D Popeye isn't on screen, great music, spot on characterization, one of my favourite analysis portions, a good death, solid jokes all throughout, actual storytelling and character moments, all for a match with a character that I hold really close to me, against one that means a lot to many of my closest friends. Is this my favourite episode of the season? I wouldn't go that far. I'd go further. This is the first episode since Jack vs Afro dropped where I could confidently say I prefer this one. This is the first episode since Season 2 where Snake vs Sam and Tony vs Lex are no longer this untouchable holy duology at the top of the food chain for me. I don't know if I prefer Over the Farmer quite yet just because of how well the climax to that fight was done, but I like this episode even more than Iron Man vs Lex Luthor, my previous second favourite episode of all time. This is the only time in so long where Snake vs Samus had genuine competition as my favourite episode ever. And while I can't confidently say I like Saitama vs Popeye more than it yet, the fact that it's even in the running says more than anything else I ever could. This episode means the world to me, not just for how good it turned out, but for the initial experience with watching it with friends as well, who all loved it about as much as I did. It's something I'll never forget for the rest of my life, and I'm so glad it turned out as good as it did. I'm not going to go over my predictions for Season 9, that'll get its own video. For now, I'll just leave things off here. Enjoy the highlight reel, go watch Nem's review of the episode, and have a happy, whatever winter holiday you celebrate.
God, I am so excited. Oh my god.
Hey, I know that guy.
Woo!
One punch.
Oh, I know that guy too.
Oh, this is surreal.
I'm excited.
I love it already. Oh, fart time already.
Hey, 3D animated.
What?
Whoa!
What?
Oh,
Hands
shit!
on?
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Really good.
I'm freaking the fuck
Look,
out
hey,
already.
it's the thing Biffy spoiled himself on.
I didn't have the willpower to go a whole week, I'm sorry.
Mate, I'm actually fucking shaking right now.
Vaccine Man, no.
Yo, it's Piccolo. See, the joke is that he looks a little bit like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, just in case you didn't know.
Is that the Spanish monster?
No, actually, fun fact about Vaccine Man is that he's based on one of the villains from On Pawn Man, which One Punch Man was a parody of.
You would know that.
Right, well, fucking shit on my parade.
I'm sorry.
This editing is good.
Yeah.
I was not aware of him being lava proof.
Biff, I thought he was your favorite character. How did you not know him being lava proof?
Because I haven't, believe it or not, I have not studied every single fucking manga.
Why? How dare you?
That's an excellent question. Right, this is roughly where the preview ends.
Yeah, Biff, what do you have? A life? Do you have a job or something? Lame.
The one that I've been at for the last 10 hours, yes.
Yeah, how dare you? You should just be watching. You should have been just reading the One Punch Man manga.
This battle will not be timed.
This is so cool.
I love that they're talking about it like this.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Biffweed? This is your character.
I'm very happy.
They might be doing this with Popeye as well.
I really hope they do what Animation Rewind did and have him go like full throttle consecutive serious punches and then start the fight.
100 push-ups is absolutely doable. I've done it before.
Every single day.
Oh, Donovan, you can beat Popeye.
It's me, Donovan. I'm the planet level clown.
Remember, Saitama only ate bananas too.
Yeah.
Oh, Saitama versus Donkey Kong.
But Wiz is gonna be bald. I've actually been working on my own machine to remove my own limiter bonus tech.
It's a top.
What if
Deep Sea King's in the sidebar list.
He can wiggle his. He wiggles his neck ears.
Hey, it's the guy who should fight Battle
This is
Beast.
so cool.
I think this is one of my favorite analyses
For
so
sure.
far, for the season.
And we haven't even gotten to Popeye.
Oh my god, Popeye's gonna fucking destroy me. I'm gonna just keep screaming.
I'm grinning ear to ear.
I'm so happy. I don't even care that that's a fucking different number from what they gave before. I don't care.
Get owned, not Saitama, get owned.
That was so good.
That was really good.
Here we go.
Popeye, this time. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're saying it, but it doesn't make the bad joke.
Yeah.
Ah, that comic. I love that comic.
Felix, let's go.
DJW.
I'm fucking freaking out.
Smiling so hard, my face hurts. This feels like Yoda versus Mickey again.
Oh my god.
Are we getting a
This is so fucking good.
This fucking
I
perfect.
love this.
They show Family Guy.
This episode was made for this group. Jesus.
This is my favorite analysis of the season.
I'm fucking so happy right now.
Yeah, Saitama's screwed.
Pretending with a Popeye.
This is making me so happy.
They have it. They have the
What?
beat up CU cigar.
Oh my
Get him,
god.
Popeye.
Ron Williams!
You.
I'm so glad I made it in.
This is so good.
Okay, here we go.
Favorite analysis of the
Okay,
season.
fuck it. If I like this fight enough, this will be my new favorite episode. I am
Come on, Popeye.
like,
Come
holy
on,
shit.
Come on, Popeye.
Come on, Popeye.
Oh,
Oh.
Yes!
That's so good.
Wait,
Oh my god!
I just predicted it.
Hey,
This looks so good!
my boy.
This looks so good!
He's mumbling.
Okay, yeah, the track starts a little bit later into the fight, I see. Yeah. Oh my god! What the fuck? This is like the nicest looking hand-drawn fight they've had, I think. Jesus.
Oh my god, this is fucking gorgeous.
This is so good looking.
This looks amazing.
I dig the Saitama voice, honestly. Oh! Jesus!
Fight ends. Fight ends. Oh, please regenerate into.
Ah, he's disappointed. Yeah.
Let's go.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, they have it.
Yes! Yes!
Oh,
This might. Oh my god.
oh my god.
Beat his
They
ass.
punch each other.
Beat his ass.
Oh, he's
Oh my god!
Oh damn.
I am so fucking happy. Holy shit.
Excuse me?
Just Sprite?
Oh my god! So good!
I'm so happy.
Look at him go. Tier 3rd. Let's go.
Yes! Oh my god!
The back and hand blow, okay.
Tier 3rd giant
Oh
fist in
my
there.
god!
Jesus.
That's so cool! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Go away.
Mate!
Oh my god.
What? Holy shit! 3 animation styles.
Come on, Popeye.
3D Popeye is cursed, but I will live.
That's a little rancid, but yeah, it fits.
Rancid.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
My heart is racing. Oh. Shit.
Oh my goodness. Man.
Oh!
Saitama's having the time
What
of his
happened?
life.
Oh my god. God.
My heart is racing.
Oh my.
This might be my new favorite episode. Holy shit.
Dang.
He's happy!
Oh.
Ah!
Oh.
Saitama!
Oh.
I'm so happy we got this over Galactus Unicron. I'm gonna say it right now.
He's so happy.
Oh,
This is
my.
the best by mine.
Dude, he's crying.
That's so good.
Yo!
Oh my god. Oh sh. Oh.
Oh, we got me casted there.
Oh. Oh my god.
do it?
Oh, he turns them into eggs.
Let's
That's
go.
amazing. Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh my god!
There we
I'm
go.
so happy.
That was so good!
Dear
That was
God.
so fucking amazing!
Absolutely
Dear
worth
God
the
was
wait.
my favorite episode for 2 whole months, and he got
I
dethroned.
think this is my new favorite episode. Like,
Oh,
holy
it might be mine.
shit!
It might be mine.
This is great.
Best of the season, free.
That was ridiculous!
That was fucking phenomenal.
3 animation styles!
He was crying. He was so happy.
That is one of the first times I've seen, like it completely going away from the action to have a character moment. That is so good.
I think my single favorite shot of this entire episode is him going for the death punch and then Popeye returning with a spinach punch.
Why did muscular Popeye look so cursed?
Have you seen the fan art?
I've not seen
It
the fan
fits
art.
though. It fits because if you've seen live action Popeye before, Robin Williams,
How
that
are
shit
you
is kind of
feeling,
cursed.
Biff?
I honestly like this way more than Goku vs Superman, the first one.
I like Saitama.
That was fantastic.
We can't even speak.
Yoda vs. Mickey was my favorite episode. I liked this more, so like, I guess I got a new favorite
This is
episode.
bare minimum. This is second best of the season for me. Bare minimum.
I cannot believe that they actually like had it end with Popeye like remaking his theme to like fit with the fight. That's fantastic.
Start with a 10, they end with a 10, and Dio versus Alucard was there as
The
well.
hand-drawing's so good.
I know.
Dio Card was my favorite episode for 2 whole months, and
What
this
is
just
the best
destroyed
hand of
it.
the series?
Popeye is so good.
This is the best way to celebrate 10 years of this show.
After so long of waiting for a Toon Forcey cartoon character.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it ended up being one of the best episodes.
Also,
No,
Vance
the
and
best
Popeye was
episode.
still really funny just for how he looked and that same voice coming out of there.
That was fantastic. That was
I wanna rewatch
amazing.
this on my birthday.
Alright, let's looky here.
Beg your heroes.
Oh, don't
Oh!
Oh!
Wait, was that Apocalypse?